Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As we all have seen last week, Trump has announced that the Department of Defense is now called the Department of War. And in this video, we're going to talk about the terminology shift from the Department of Defense to the Department of War and what that really means for government contracts.
I'm against this war. Yeah, dude, I'm against the war too. I fucking hate Bush. This isn't about being pro-war. The war is happening. This is about being pro-money.
The terminology shift between the Department of Defense to the Department of War is not just semantics, it signals a fundamental change in military procurement priorities, which will ripple through each contractor relationship, DIBBS transactions, and defense budget allocations as well. The executive order was that the DOD can be called Department of War. It hasn't passed through the Congress yet, so we'll see how that goes. But since Trump called it an executive order, what that means is now it can be called as a secondary name, and it can be used through paperwork, which equals procurement. And I want to give a slight history about the Department of War, aka Department of Defense. It actually started the Department of War back in 1789 till 1947. It was called the Department of War, and that is because of the World War I's and II's. However, in 1947, it was changed to the Department of Defense till 2025, which is where we are today. So this was not just a cosmetic change, it's representing a philosophical shift in how the US is viewing its military mission. Because history repeats itself, which was what reflected post World War II, is that the US is now going to be more of a defense than an attack, which they focused on homeland security and global stability. But as what we're seeing with Trump's motive to call it Department of War, it's now signaling that we're war ready and how the US is positioning itself, everything that is happening, including China, including Russia, etc., etc. And why does this matter to government contract? Well, first of all, this is a good thing for us. The scale of operations with the DOD is going to be a lot bigger. It's already the largest federal agency in the US, and it oversees vast procurement operations that are critical to the national security across every sector of the defense industrial base. So it was already the biggest, and now we just know there are more eyes on it. It's going to be war instead of defense, so we're going to be investing more in it, or the government will be investing more in the Department of War. And secondly, language shapes budget. As I mentioned earlier, it's not just cosmetic with the semantics. The language matters because words fundamentally they shape the budget, and budgets directly determine which contracts get funded and prioritized. When military leadership adopts a war terminology and a war mindset, it signals a shift towards hard power procurement. So now we need weapons, ammunition, tactical equipment over soft services. And we need these kind of things in bulk, and we need the parts and the associations that come with it. And as I'm saying here, every word choice in government procurement signals budget priorities. Smart contractors read these signals early and position accordingly. A quick look at the Defense Logistic Agency, which is the backbone of the military supply, which is where the Department of Defense gets its equipment from. It has $52 billion annual procurement. That was for the fiscal year of 2024. It's operating in 48 states and 28 countries as well. So not just domestically in the US, but also they operate across the world over 28 countries. What I'm saying here is when the tone changes at the top, procurement priorities will follow. And that's where you and me, the contractors, we need to pay attention. And this change will probably shift billions of dollars in contract opportunities. Now, where are those opportunities being listed? They're listed on the website called DIBBS, which is the DLA Internet Bid Board System. Now, this is what the DLA DIBBS website looks like. Wouldn't you wish they rebranded the website instead of the name? I personally would rather have it called Department of Anything. Call it whatever you want. If you give me an updated website that doesn't look like it was built in the 1988s, maybe this was built in the World War II. I wouldn't know. I wasn't even born back then. And this is something that is, to be fully transparent, is not acceptable for the American government to have as their software. And that's where the Army is placing the bids, because it's extremely hard to navigate, extremely hard to go through the results. However, with websites like SamSearch, I can just use AI to find these DIBBS opportunities, but also understand them. Because as we can see here, not just that we get the RFQ number in the title, we also get a smart summary generated by AI and few tags as well, just like the estimated value, the AI next code, etc. So these contracts move fast. So this was posted 5 days ago and is due in 7 days. So a total of 15 days for you to perform this contract, and you get the NSN number, the purchase request, and the attachments here that are already summarized for you. In comparison, this is what you get for the exact same RFQ on the DIBBS website. So it looks like this, not knowing where to navigate. You know it's an open quote with the issue date and the return by date, but everything else is just nothing. So when you go to a website like SAMsearch, it just makes it so much easier to get a summary of the attachment, understand the RFQ more, get suggestions, ask AI about it, along with everything else. So you can do goggles, gloves, examination, patient gloves, bolts, push-to-talk walkie-talkies, etc., etc. These are all fast contracts, and they're a low-hanging fruit that government contractors can pick up right now, especially with how it's going to be the Department of War. More contracts are going to be posted daily on the DIBBS website. So you can take an advantage of that, knowing that. Create an alert for yourself to get notified on daily basis about new goggles opportunities. For the sake of example, there's going to be an increased demand for ammunition, small arms, and weapon system as military readiness becomes a priority for the US government. Drones and aircrafts, we're expecting that the expanded procurement for unmanned systems and aircraft components for modern warfare capabilities, tactical vehicles, and lastly, protective gear, as well as protective gear, FSC 8415 and 8470. There's going to be an increased orders for body armors, helmets, personal protective equipment for troops, goggles, night vision, walkie-talkies, etc., etc. And lastly, logistics parts. These are the gold mine for small businesses. You need to understand that these micro components, they barely require any human review sometimes. It's basically a micro purchase. And that's what I was showing you earlier, like bolts, screws, helmets, night goggles, and they give you the NSN. And a lot of times that you also can find these certified suppliers to work with the government, so you can give the supplier and deliver the contract to the Department of War, Defense, whatever you call it, give the money. And as I'm saying here, the DIBBS actually, they thrive on little things. And if the Pentagon is leaning towards more warfighting, expect even more of these micro purchases to be flying through the system. This is not just a name change. Expect more hard power pies. So there's going to be an increased focus on munitions, tactical gear, communications equipment, and direct combat support systems over administrative services. Expect fewer soft contracts. So there's going to be less emphasis on diversity training, climate initiatives, and non-essential administrative services. The budget is probably going to be reallocated on core military capabilities. And if you're a small business, watch DIBBS for spike in parts, components, and solid gear. That's where the real opportunities will be for you. Do you think the Department of War rebranding means more contracts for smaller businesses or just more bureaucracy? If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. Your support means a lot to me, and give me a like as well. And if you want me to cover exactly how to find these opportunities on DIBBS or on DIBBS alternatives, comment below and my next video will be that. Thank you for watching, and let's see where the Congress will take us next.